Hey guys, what's up? We're back for Facebook Live again. And I think it's kind of interesting because we talk about how many times once a month that we get together and we get to sit and talk to you guys out there. And I think what's really going to be good with this discussion for the next 15 minutes is, or maybe even less, but what we're going to really kind of focus on is kind of the ins and outs of what actually goes on in the salon. What is the proper etiquette for certain things in the salon? And I want you guys to really kind of chime in there. If any of you guys are watching us, if you guys have any questions, if anybody in the salon has questions, the salon is still open at the present time, to kind of really voice your opinion and ask any questions you might have, or give an opinion on some of the topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a couple of topics about proper etiquette in the salon, on everything as far as clients, stylists, if clients bring in photos, when they bring in what I always call their support team that kind of sits there with them and gets their hair done. A couple other things that Danielle and I were talking about is when a stylist runs late or a client runs late, what is the proper etiquette there? What is the proper etiquette when children are in a salon? Or is it even a place for children to be if they're not getting services done?
Yeah, I also think some of the key points we're going to hit today are a little bit challenging. I find, not even just in salons, but even in other businesses in my experiences, we're definitely going to hit a few things that might seem a little difficult for some of those of you that are out there, whether you're a stylist or a salon owner or a guest in a salon. And I feel like our goal is to kind of guide you guys a little bit in how we handle it and how to make things a little bit easier for everybody.
Right. And I think, you know what, I think as far as salon etiquette and both stylist and client etiquette, there's a way to handle every situation that happens in the salon. And I think it's really, really important. And for those of you guys that are guests, you know, we keep talking about clients, but you are actually a guest to the establishment that you are patronizing. And those of you guys who are guests, there are things that you may not even realize or not even know, but happens. And we had a conversation earlier this morning about it because there was a situation in our own salon, at Salon G, and we were talking about it on how it really should be addressed. And when you don't address it, it gives a signal out there that it's okay to react this way in the salon. And I think that was something, you know, we kind of laughed about it this morning because we had a conversation about it prior to the whole...
As we were having a conversation about it, preparing for Facebook Live.
It occurred.
Yeah.
And we ended up having a conversation about this prior to the whole staff being here. So we were on board with it, but not realizing that we didn't kind of prep the salon into that. So here's one topic I think we should talk about, Danielle, and it's kids and strollers, you know, in the salon. When a client makes an appointment, and it might be her first time, or it might be, you know, a time that she's been visiting the salon before, and she comes in with her baby, a stroller, or the whole family.
Yeah.
I think, you know, what is the actual appropriate positioning that we should take on that as stylists, salon owners, and providers for them? For
I think as a salon, and I know you'll probably agree with this because I know the way that, you know, our etiquette is in the salon. You want to be welcoming and you want people to feel at home and you want to be able to accommodate, as we do understand that as parents you do get very minimal time to yourself, but at the same time we have to worry about the safety for the children in the salon and the experience for the client in the chair. And that can become very difficult if you have, you know, a crying child or, you know, trying to pull at things and kind of interrupting the service, but at the same time you don't know if the scissor's going to fall, and it's very difficult to approach for a stylist because you don't, it's their kids, it's very personal for them. So you don't want to be offensive, but at the same time we've got to take control of that in the salon.
Absolutely. For
the benefit of the client or the guest, the stylist, and the child.
And I think that's, you know, a really good topic to talk about, Dee, because when you really think about this, and I think you hit the nail on the head when how you express that, you know, you want to make it welcoming for everybody in particular. Listen, I've been on many planes. I travel international for a fantastic hair company, and I represent the line as well as Danielle does as well too. And I've been on many planes where I felt for the parent that brought in their child, and the child was crying, and they have every right to be there as well as everybody else does. You know, it is difficult for parents today to try to make time for themselves, never mind leaving their child. And if I have a child, I don't want to leave my child alone with anybody as well. But I think that there's got to be a way that we need to approach it in a salon. And here's the thing, there are many different sizes of salons. You could be a booth rental, you could rent a studio, you could work in a salon that's a 6-chair salon. We exactly are a 10-chair salon with a color area. But primarily we would consider ourselves a 6-chair salon because we have 6 cutting stations in the salon, a small reception area, a big retail area, a little area that we're sitting on right now. But ultimately our salon is what, 900 square feet? And we welcome children into the salon, providing that they are maintained in the reception area, or what we consider our waiting area. It is an open floor plan, but at the same token, we cannot allow children to be running around or have strollers or carriages in the cutting area. And I think our approach on that with the client, and I think with our guests, I keep saying client, but our guests are coming to the salon.
I keep trying to repeat, trying myself to do the same thing.
But I think our approach with our guests is to let them know that we're here to service them and provide them an experience that you want them to leave, which is going to be a very good experience and a happy experience and a relaxing experience. But we, for the safety of their child, need to maintain them in the waiting area. And because we're an open floor plan, it makes it a little bit easier. I know this may not be agreed upon most stylists, but we have a kind of a vow between all of us. We help each other out. So if it's my client that brought in their child, or Danielle's client that brought in their child, we kind of take turns and play with the child as well.
If one of us is not busy, we'll walk up there and kind of help entertain a little bit so that the child doesn't have to be right in the cutting area, kind of lessen the blow a little bit so mom can relax a little if that's the situation.
And I think that, let's face the fact, guys, there are parents out there that their full-time job is to take care of the kids, and that is a full-time job for them, to be a mother or a father or stay-at-home dads, but they also need their time as well.
No sick days in parenting.
Exactly. And, for them to bring a child, of course the ultimate goal is not to have them worry about bringing a child into a salon, but when strollers do come into the salon, they have to be maintained in a certain area. You cannot have them in your cutting area or your coloring area, and I think it's important for our guests that patronize all of our businesses out there to realize that, they need to be prepared when they are coming to a situation to get their hair colored, especially when they're getting their hair colored because they're there for a long period of time.
Yeah, and any child at that point can get really antsy and feel like they want to go and, cry, they get hungry. So it's just easier not to put anybody in that situation if it's going to be a little bit shaky, or if we can just narrow it down to one area.
So here's a couple of suggestions that we thought of that might allow you, for those of you that are salons that do welcome children into your salon, and you want to kind of put a little control on that. I mean, a box of crayons and a coloring book is a great idea. Keeps them entertained if the parent forgets to bring something. Of course, if you feel that it is in your financial budget to do that, you can have an iPad available for them to play with or watch a movie in the reception area, not the cutting area. It ties to build up time that way. And I think most importantly, just to be considerate and approach it in a much more dignified manner than to be, a little bit rough around the edges with that. And I think that we need to treat everything with kid gloves when it comes to that. Because listen, I know how I get when somebody gives me attitude with my little pet Yorkie. Lexi,
I feel the same way about my dogs.
But you know what? We don't allow, of course, animals into the salon. But we do welcome children. And you know what? Those children will eventually become your clients. That's your future right in front of you. So, however you approach it, and I know that we all feel differently about that, and that's okay. But if you guys have any suggestions on how you deal with it in your own salons, please chime in with that. And I hope that we were able to just shed a little bit of light. But I think the iPad is the best thing. If it is in your financial budget to have an iPad in your reception area, a child can look at that if they want to. Of course, you do risk the chance of it dropping and breaking, but, que sera, insure it. But coloring books is a very inexpensive way to go. Maybe, I don't know, $1 a toy without starting to have a treasure chest up there for different ways. So.
I think another really important category that we should talk about is not just bringing your child, but, having that day of beauty and being the two best friends and bringing your friend along. I know you and I, Gerard, we talk all the time and we joke around, and I always sing to him and grab his hand and say, we're the two best friends, because he's always talking about we. I asked him if he has a mouse in his pocket, and all the things we're going to do together. And all jokes aside, as much fun as it is to do everything together, sometimes some of us...
I don't go with you when you go for your electrolysis.
I hope not. It'd be kind of creepy.
But it's too deep. I think that's a great point, Danielle, because when we think about this, how many of you guys out there, stylists now, I'm going to address the stylists, you guys all get annoyed, but we never approach it, all right?
I think, too, it's a fear, you don't want to be rude, again.
Well, but that's what we're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
that's what this weekend is. So you tell me how you would approach that. Client walks in the door, it's your guest, you've been servicing this guest for a while, and voila, two of her friends come in with her. Now, you're not dealing with one client because the uncertainty of that client not knowing how she wants her hair or she wants something new, she brought her two best friends. Her one friend has the haircut that she wants, and the other one is going to be the one that's going to tell you step by step how to do that.
Or don't cut it short, and she wants to cut it short. But I like your hair long.
I think, for many reasons, we don't allow friends of friends to sit in the coloring or cutting area as well. Each styling chair is designated to a certain operator. That is their personal space, and it's an invasion of their personal space. And I think that for you guys that are guests that are patronizing salons, you have to realize that although you can bring your friends with you, if they do want to come, of course we want you to encourage your friends to come and patronize, the salon that we work at, but at the same token, it is a respect equal factor that you have to have with your stylist, as well as your stylist has to have with you. So while your stylist is cutting your hair, to have somebody sitting in the open chair next to you just because that stylist's chair is not being operated at that time, or occupied at that time, doesn't give an open invitation to sit there. As well as you guys that are stylists, you should be focusing on your client. We talked about this earlier. Our moms, we're going to get in trouble for this one. But our moms come in, or our family members, my sister, and they just think because they're to us, we'll be working on a client, that they can come up and start showing us pictures on their cell phone and start talking to us, or standing or sitting to the open chair next to us. And that's a bit no-no in the salon industry, because your client that is sitting in your chair, or your guest that is sitting in your chair, is paying for your time. And we need to provide them with that ultimate 100% attention.
I also feel like that time that they're paying for, not only do you want to give them that focus, but of course you want to give them that, but at the same time it creates that professionalism. It's great to generate conversation because, again, we want to make everybody feel very welcome in the salon, but at the same time, we also need to keep things to a certain professional level so that we understand each other between the stylist and the client, and that everybody's on the same page. So by being able to keep the level of professionalism as well as being able to focus is huge as far as setting yourself, as far as from a stylist standpoint of view, above the line and giving a great experience to the client as well.
Agreed. Two quick resolutions for that. One way is, as we talked about the first one, how do you approach that guest that brings in their friends and the friend decides that it's okay to sit next to her friend while you're cutting her hair. And I think it is absolutely not being rude, and it is appropriate to just lean over and say, you know what, I need to leave this chair free. It belongs to Danielle's clients. At the same token, I need to focus on just what I'm doing with my clients. So if you could just wait in the reception area, I can get you a cappuccino, a cup of coffee, glass of water, anything you would like. Or here's a cool thing to do. If you guys do any type of other services, here's a cool thing that we just started. And Danielle put it up, the paraffin. Paraffin is very inexpensive. There's a way that you can offer a kind of a treatment, complimentary to that guest's friend while they're sitting in the reception area. Just put a little paraffin treatment into their hands, and they can sit there. It's those of you guys who don't know what it is, it's a deep moisturizer treatment for the hands. And it's a wax that goes out to the hands. It sits for 10-15 minutes, and then somebody comes in and takes it out. And that's a great way to kind of build business as well as controlling a situation.
And making people feel comfortable and at home and that we're taking care of them.
And having them sit down and enjoy a nice cappuccino or a cup of coffee, a glass of water, or something to that matter. Another way, real quickly, to handle, let's say, our friends, other stylists, the front desk, a telephone call that might come in, or your mother or sisters that come in and decide that it's okay to talk to you while you're working with a client, is simply giving them the 1 minute finger. And that's basically, for you, the stylist, allows you to turn to the client and continue a conversation and just say, 1 minute.
Just making people aware that you're busy and focused on a situation.
Absolutely. And those of you guys that are guests out there, I know that some of you salon owners and hairdressers might be upset by this, but I will reach out to every guest that is watching us right now. It is okay for you to turn to your stylist and say, can you focus on just me at this moment? You're paying for that time. And stylists should appreciate that and devote that to you. So those of you guys, I hope you don't stop following us now. Because I said that, but let's be honest. We want to help our guests have a great experience. It's all about the experience. I know that last month we talked about what goes on in a Starbucks and what goes on in an Apple store. It's the experience that you receive. Let's provide the best experience that we can provide for our clients.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have to say, there is one other person that comes into the salon besides children and friends that can be a little frustrating sometimes, and that would be my client's boyfriend or girlfriend. Especially when husband, wife, whatever you want to call it, especially when they are very vocal about what I should or shouldn't do to my client's hair.
So let me ask you this then. So do you think the stylist should listen to what that significant other, spouse, husband, wife, whatever?
I have to be very honest with you. I can't even answer that question because that's exactly what happens to me when that goes on. So in other words, if I have, let's say I have a woman in my chair and her husband or boyfriend comes in and he's trying to tell me how to cut her hair or what she should do, and he's telling me, he's telling the girlfriend, just cut a little bit, and the girlfriend saying, I want a bob.
And he's usually the accountant.
Right. So, and she's telling me she wants a bob. Now, I'm standing there with my scissor and my comb in the hand, and I can't even get my professional opinion in there. And, of course, we always take into consideration that our client is going to be comfortable with whatever look we provide.
Well, here, I'm going to get myself in trouble with this one, okay? I'm going to get myself in trouble with this one, I know I am. But here's my opinion on that, because I totally agree with you. And here's the funny part,
I know exactly what you're saying.
I tend to think that they do it more to women than they do it to men, because I've had witnessed that. Danielle, our stations are not far apart from each other. And I have to say something to all you guests out there that have that significant other, whether it be a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, I don't care who it is, and you're appeasing them by wearing the hairstyle that they want. And if you're afraid that they're going to leave you because you don't do it, they're going to leave you anyway. Okay? I think ultimately, let's be realistic. We all want to please our significant others, and we all want to be happy. But at the end of the day, if you never please yourself, you know the old saying, if you don't love yourself, you're never going to love someone else. If you don't please yourself and make yourself happy, how are you going to please somebody else? And it's good to take opinions.
Of course, yeah. You want to take it into consideration, even, not to go too much into it, because I know next time we're going to be talking about this, but even in consultation, you know, with the client, you want to give your professional opinion and you want to hear what their opinion and daily routines are. So each side is important. It's not that nobody else's opinion matters, but it can become very confusing for the stylist, for the guest, and it makes for an uncomfortable situation and unclear communication, which is going to result in maybe not the greatest, you know, end final look. And if you're not comfortable, you know, I say this all the time, I could cut your hair really short and everybody can say it looks fabulous, but if you don't like it, you're not going to project it well. So if you have somebody sitting there, no matter who it is, you know, telling you how you should do everything to your hair, it's going to make you feel like you have to do it, and then you can do it and not even be in love with it. So if you're not in love with that look and you don't wear it confidently, you're not going to represent that well, and it's not going to come off well, and it's not going to be the greatest experience.
Hey, you know, somebody just chimed in on this, and I'm going to, let's touch base with it. I'm just kind of looking down at the phone over here. And the question that they had is, how do you handle a stylist that's late or a client that's late? And I think that's really good because it's a very touchy situation. Because somebody once told me a long, long time ago, when you're late and you're repeatedly late, you're basically telling each other, or you're telling somebody you don't value their time, and that your time is more valuable than theirs. Now, I run late from time to time, without a doubt.
I think that comes with the creative brain, don't you? It
Absolutely.
definitely happens.
But I don't think that running late is such a big deal.
As long as you make everybody aware.
Well, wait, here's what I'm saying. If I'm running late and I'm holding up my clients and I don't approach them to let them know or apologize or offer a service or acknowledge them in some way or form, I think that is poor business.
Of course.
Without a doubt. I think if my client is running late, I'm more understanding of that because I'm already focused in one area. Okay? I don't take an attitude. I've ran late plenty of times. I've had clients that ran late several times, and to me, it doesn't necessarily bother me when a client runs late. It's an open communication. And everybody feels that. Listen, I have run late for a couple of my own appointments that whether it be a doctor's appointment, a gym appointment, because we don't offer nail services here, so I do go out and get nails done, whether it be a nail appointment. I don't run late. I mean, I do run late on situations like that, and I know what that feels like. When your heart is beating, you're trying to get there.
You're behind the bus.
You're behind the bus. You're in traffic.
You're sweating.
Your guests come to you for you to provide a service. They don't come to suffer anxiety. And I think that we all need to be considerate, of course, of people's time, but we also need to realize that running late is not the end of the world.
Especially in this atmosphere, because a lot of people look at a salon as a relaxing time. So
right.
The last thing you want to do is make them feel completely pressured and like they have no control or they, you know, extremely tense or whatever the situation is.
And I'm not just saying this, I think that, I hope my clients are watching this and they're chiming in on this too, because I think that, and as my phone rings from one of my clients that's getting at me, but I think that my clients would be the first to tell you, I'm like, don't worry about it, it's no big deal, it is no, guys, I'm going to be here anyway. If my schedule is working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, I'm going to be here anyway. And if I can go that one step out of my way for a client, or if they can go one step out of their way for me, I think it's more crucial that I don't run extraordinarily late for my client. But if my client does run a little bit late and I have another client backed up, I at least allow my client to know, hey, no big deal, don't worry about it. I just want you to know I'm going to be a few minutes because I have to take care of this first now. And I think usually when it's an open communication, which is the key word, guys, and that's the answer to this problem. Right? Wouldn't you agree, Danielle? You have to communicate. You have to turn around.
Just making each party aware and approaching it diplomatically and really just truly saying the truth, how you feel about it.
Exactly. And it's up to us because we are the stylist, we are the provider. We need to, guys, you know what I'm talking about. How many of you guys go to a doctor? Every client or guest that goes into a doctor's office is guaranteed that doctor is going to run late. And now every doctor out there, including my own doctor, which I love you, Dr. Sharma, is going to hate me. But you know what? If it's that bad of a situation and you get that irritated about that, then maybe your communication is off. And maybe you just need to approach communication. So I think the key part of that, when you say D, is to communicate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, bringing up communication, the other thing I think we should talk about today is cell phones.
Yeah, but wait, so I hope we answered that for you, whoever asked that question, it's not such a big deal, okay? Don't sweat the small stuff. If you guys have never heard of that before, there's a little book, it's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and that's in it. And it's a great little book, it takes 5 minutes to read. There are bigger fish to fry in the ocean. You know what, so when you catch that little guppy, throw it back in and grab a flounder or something.
A flounder?
Cell phones.
Yeah, so, with cell phones being around so much now and being so popular, social media is really taking over. I mean, definitely, even in salon life with advertisement and growing the business, social media is huge, which makes basically everybody being connected to their cell phones at the hip. Whether it's the workers or it's our guests, again, it's definitely something that interferes with us being able to focus on the situation, for the guests to relax, and for there to be good, clear communication and consultation between the guest and the stylist, and between everything else that's going on in an operating salon. So whether that's from employee to employee or staff to manager, whatever it is, cell phones definitely can be very interfering in the way of the business.
Well, here's my thing with cell phones, because I agree with you, Danielle. Without a doubt, social media has taken the industry by storm. And without social media, okay, without everything, what do you guys, everybody's out there Snapchatting, tweeting, Facebook, Instagram, everything is out there, and I think that social media takes a big part of it. Listen, I do agree with, every now and then posting something, putting it up on Instagram, letting people know what's going on out there, making yourself aware. Where cell phones become a hindrance or an annoyance is, and it did happen here about a week ago. We had 2 clients in on a Thursday. One was a brand new guest, and the second was a guest that was here for a while. They were both on their cell phone, and let me tell you something. It was like a battle of who could speak the loudest. And I happened to be working on a third guest, and she was very annoyed by it. She was upset by it because of the lack of respect for other guests in the salon. It is very irritating to have to listen to somebody having an argument with somebody else on their cell phone. And I think when you speak at a low tone, I think it's okay. I think that, again, a salon or a spa is a relaxing environment. And one way that I think that you guys can approach that, if you choose to, we happen to not ban cell phones from the salon. We allow that to happen, but we do try to promote it to be a much more, low-key environment. Perhaps sitting in the reception area and speaking in a low key, or, an easy way to do it is place a sign up in your salon. Whether you prefer not to have cell phones, especially if there's massaging and things like that going on, or if you would say, you know, cell phones are permitted, providing it is done in low key. I mean, there's different ways to approach that. You know, and I think that the best thing that we can honestly say is all these topics that we're talking about are need to be adjusted by what your environment is in your own salons. And guests that come into the salon, so you guys out there that do walk in, you have to also be considerate of other people.
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter which one of these topics, this actually just came to mind right now as we're going through this, the common word that we keep using as we're kind of suggesting things to you guys, whether you're the stylist or the guest, the common word that we use no matter which one of these topics we talk about is communication. And no matter how you're going to handle it or what kind of environment you're going to create in your salon, the key is really good, pure communication between everybody in the salon, between the stylist and the guest, and kind of just speaking exactly how you feel, but presenting it in the type of way where nobody feels uncomfortable and everybody still feels welcome. You know, again, making sure that you really express the safety of a child, or, you know, the importance of clear communication and consultation, or, you know, apologizing for being late, or making sure you're not fully focused on a cell phone and still paying attention to what's going on around you. No matter which one of these things it is, communication is definitely the common word.
And respect. You know, there needs to be mutual respect between the two of you. But one thing I will tell you guys, and I want to get back to that cell phone thing real quickly, is that what I definitely think is the biggest mistake and the biggest no-no, and it's something that I instill here in the salon, is absolutely a stylist should not be on your cell phone while they're on working trips. I mean, if you need to, we all have emergencies. Some of our working mothers need to go and check a message here and there. That can be done or utilized in the break room or in the back end of the salon or wherever you have that moment to get away. But to be on a cell phone while you have a client or a guest in your chair is the biggest mistake you can make. It is rude, and is basically telling your client that their service that you're providing them with comes secondary to what you need to do. And I think that is an absolute no-no. You know, I've always said that, you know, just like different people in different words, there are certain things that are okay in certain scenarios. You know, so for a client to be on the cell phone, is it detrimental just like a stylist on a cell phone? I think it's more detrimental for a stylist on a cell phone.
Absolutely.
You know, and you're there to work. You know, I've been in plenty of supermarkets where, you know, I have the cashier checking me out. Meanwhile, she's texting where she's going to wear or underneath.
Register,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, the biggest thing, I don't know if you guys know this movie, but it's Made in Manhattan. And it's with, oh my God.
I don't know.
What is her name?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can picture her, but I don't know her name.
J-Lo. J-Lo is starring in the movie, and she goes to a department store to purchase stockings for one of her guests, because she's a maid, in a hotel. And here's the funny thing. The girl behind the desk was talking on the phone and gave her the 1 minute finger. Now, a guest never gets the 1 minute finger. A fellow employee gets the 1 minute finger. A family member or a friend, but a guest that is patronizing you never gets the 1 minute finger. They get the, I'll be right with you, and spoken to. And the funny part was she got the 1 minute finger because this woman on the other end was talking on the phone about somebody else. And it kind of, you know, made me look at things a little bit differently. And I think like these little tidbits that we see in different movies, in different scenarios, kind of tread back into what we're doing in the salon. So I hope that we were able to kind of have a discussion with you guys on some of the do's and the don'ts of what goes on in the salon. I hope those of you guys that are guests that have been watching us kind of understand it a little bit better. Here's one last thing that we can definitely say to you guys. Body language tells a whole paragraph of a story rather than a quick sentence. And I think that you need to be aware of your body language when it comes to working facial expression, body language, things like that. You know, people always want to see a smiling face. When you're down and frumpy, and nobody wants to go to that.
No, positivity, happiness, smiles, open body language. Those are all things that are going to make that guest comfortable in your chair and make them feel welcome. And I do believe that the first Wednesday of next month, we will be touching more on that, because we'll definitely go into that a little bit more when we start talking to you guys about consultations.
Oh, consultation.
It's a job in its own.
It is. Does the client bring a photograph and tell you that she wants to look like this? Tune in next month. I believe it's the first Wednesday in September. Danielle and I will have another salon talks with you guys. Hope that this one was a little worth your while. Brought some good information. If it was, can I ask you guys one thing? Share it with everybody. Pass it around. Give this information, maybe even to your own clients. You know, share it with some of them. Hopefully they have learned from it as well as we have learned from it. We are just average hairdressers, just like the rest of you guys. We don't claim to be any better, but we do claim to have some ideas and tips. Hope it was informative to you guys. We will see you guys soon. Follow us on Instagram. Okay, Gerard Caruso.
And then D_M Perry, or you can follow the salon as well at SALONG_Hackensack, and that's on Instagram, and then on Facebook we're SALONG.
See you guys in about 4 weeks. Take care, guys.
Bye.